Hi, this is Dr. Curtis. Thank you for visiting the Save Your Relationship page. I'd like to talk with you about 3 things that are absolutely essential if you're to grow in your relationship, much less save it. The first thing is your relationship your highest priority? Is your relationship your highest priority in life, bar none, or have you made other things more important? Your work, your friends, even your children. If you have put these things at the top of your list, if you've placed anything at a higher priority than your relationship, I guarantee you your relationship will suffer. One of the secrets of making a relationship work is making it the highest priority in your life. I often use the metaphor of a garden when it comes to relationships. Your relationship is very much like a garden, and it requires your continuous attention. Not constant attention. There's a difference. I mean, if you want a beautiful garden, it demands to be watered, and if it's not watered, it's going to die. It's simple as that. A garden will not thrive if it's not watered maybe once a week or once a month. It will suffer and it will wilt. What you give your attention to, you grow to love. You and I tend to make everything more important than our relationship. And that is partly why most relationships die and most marriages end in divorce. We make everything else more important. If you want your relationship to work, if you want to save your relationship, if you want it to grow and thrive, there is one simple thing that you must do, and that is make your relationship and your partner your highest priority. There's nothing else you need to do or must do immediately, although once you make your relationship the highest priority, there will be many things that you'll tend to do quite naturally that will simply flow out of that declaration. It's simply human nature to give your attention to what you declare as your highest priority. You will do that without effort, and your relationship is no exception. Now, there are many things that you might do to give your relationship the attention it deserves, but the main question to really answer is, do you know your partner? Do you know your partner's feelings, wants, needs, desires, likes, or what makes your partner feel loved, nurtured, and cared for? Knowing your partner on a deeper level allows you to be responsive and opens up the way to give love to the relationship. If you think you know your partner already, you've already closed the door. Your partner and you are changing, evolving beings, and your inner awareness is constantly changing. Now, continuing to view your relationship as a garden, one of the things that's essential if you're to make this garden beautiful is to keep out the weeds. And if your garden is overgrown with weeds, then what you need to do is get in there and pull the weeds out. And when it comes to your relationship or even your personal life, the weeds are simply all your negative feelings and emotions that you've been accumulating over the days, months, and years. All of the negative emotions that have developed in your relationship together and all of the negative emotions that you've carried from your past. Consider this. Many of the problems that you're having in your relationship are reflections of unfinished problems and emotions that you carry from your past and are now getting acted out and played out in your present. So it's important for you to go back and complete your past, and completing your past amounts to the action of identifying all of the negative emotions that you carry from your past and learning to release them, learning to let them go. You can't let go of anything that you haven't identified, that you haven't put in its proper context. That is what pulling the weeds is all about. It's learning to clear the slate from the past and bringing a clear slate to the present where love can grow and be nurtured. And one of the essential attitudes that you must develop in relationship to your emotions is this. Now, if you can get this one thing, then you've really handled your emotional life. And that is that your emotions don't mean anything. Your emotions don't mean anything. And saying your emotions don't mean anything doesn't mean that your emotions aren't important, that your emotions aren't valid, that you shouldn't have certain emotions. No, it's none of that. The statement that your emotions don't mean anything means simply that your emotions are what they are. When you feel sad, you feel sad. When you feel angry, you feel angry. You feel resentful when you feel resentful. When you feel hurt, you feel hurt. You feel guilty when you feel guilty. You feel afraid when you feel afraid. Your emotions are not right. They're not wrong. They're not good, and they're not bad. And it's not that you should feel certain feelings, and it's not that you shouldn't feel certain feelings. The simple truth is that you feel what you feel. When you can truly get that your emotions don't mean anything, then you have the absolute freedom to have your emotions. And having your emotions means that you're responsible for your emotions. And being responsible for your emotions means that your partner doesn't cause them. If there is any one fundamental trap that couples get into, it's the hidden assumption that says, you are the cause of my feelings. I mean, how many times have you said, or at least thought, you make me so angry? I mean, that statement is simply not true. Nobody makes you angry. Nobody makes you upset. I know it certainly looks that way, that sometimes a situation or someone's behavior makes you upset, but the truth is that's not an accurate statement. Nothing makes you upset except you. And further, being responsible for your emotions doesn't mean that you shouldn't be upset. There are certainly many unpleasant things in life that happen, and certain behaviors that people do where an upset is very understandable. But the simple fact is, you are responsible for your feelings, whatever your feelings are. They are up to you to deal with. So the question is, when I feel all of these uncomfortable feelings, when I feel all of these upsets in all their various forms, the angers and resentments and hurts and so on, what do I do with them? Well, there are two things that you can do. One is you can go inside and work on them, and working on them amounts to identifying them and learning to let them go. And the other thing that you can do with them is talk about them and to share them. And that doesn't mean blaming your partner. That doesn't mean trying to control your partner. That doesn't mean nagging your partner. That doesn't mean emotionally beating up your partner or dominating your partner or making your partner wrong. It doesn't mean criticizing your partner. It simply means learning to share your feelings from a place of personal responsibility. And the other side of that is learning to listen, because if we're on the receiving end of some of these upsets, I mean, what we tend to do is we get defensive. We make it all about us. I'm not doing that. Look at what you're doing. How dare you feel those feelings? And so what we get into as the listener is invalidating our partner's feelings. And this is where the battle and the war goes on, because all arguments are not so much about what the arguments are about. It's about the fact that no one's listening. And this comes to the third thing that you must develop in your relationship, and that is communication. When you've made the relationship the highest priority, when you realize that your feelings don't mean anything, then you have the basis to develop true communication and true listening in your relationship. You can begin to share the deeper feelings and get to know each other on a deeper level. Even the so-called negative feelings can be shared because you're responsible for them, and sharing is not about manipulating or trying to control your partner. It's about opening up and being known. When you have these elements, your relationship can grow and thrive. And that's what therapy is all about. If you choose to go forward with couples or marriage therapy, I will guarantee you that I will give you my total attention to the betterment of your relationship. Because when you come to see me, you can be assured that I am committed to the healing and the thriving of your relationship. But it does take some work. It takes some honesty and some self-reflection. It takes some willingness, and it takes some faith and trust. It takes not knowing, and it takes keeping on walking into the unknown, even when things don't look like or feel like they're working. Because you will face those moments in relationship. I mean, perhaps you're facing them right now. It looks like things are not working. Things are breaking down, and so you may want to throw in the towel. Consider that where things are in your relationship are exactly where things are meant to be. And you must go through them in order to get to a new place. There's no way around but through, but to keep on walking. So if you have any questions about anything that I've shared, or just any questions at all about our potential work together, I want you to feel free to call me to discuss these things, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. So, goodbye for now.